Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Isabella Macleod. Isabella is a domestic violence survivor and author. Welcome to the show, Isabella.
Thank you, Gigi. I'm extremely happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Likewise, it's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you tell us more about you and where you are from?
I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada, and just one of the maritime provinces, East Coast, I guess. And I'm a former registered nurse of 23 years, and I had various specialties. I worked in the burn unit, plastic surgery, also ophthalmology, perioperative nursing, dermatology, and medicine. So I had a lot of specialties under my belt there. And so actually I'm a Lyme disease survivor, warrior, still kind of suffering with it a bit. I'm author of several books, two fictional. In 2015, I wrote Metamorphosis, which is semi-fictional, kind of autobiographical, and kind of made it a little fictional just to keep everybody happy. And 2019 is a continuation of Nano. And then recently in 2020, I just released the 25 Tools for Happiness, Complete Self-Care under the Wellness Universe. Sorry, 2021. It was just in February. So, and actually, they just finished launching their brand new book in the series today, actually. So, because I'm still in touch with Anna Pereira, who's the owner of the last book, and currently writing my third book of my own, continuation of the series in a trilogy. So, yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah.
What inspired you to become a registered nurse?
I just, I think I had asthma really bad as a child and just kind of spent a lot of time with the medical community. And I always was very like a caring person. I always cared about everybody and their feelings and how they felt, and always wanted, it's a helping profession. So that's kind of why I kind of went towards that way. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to be a dental hygienist, a physiotherapist, but in the end, I kind of went all through the areas. But nursing definitely was my niche. I absolutely thrived in that area, and the more challenging, the better. And I definitely had that over the years. So,
Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us more about the major challenge that you had to overcome in your life, such as domestic violence.
So I was married for 15 years, 22 years together with my ex-husband, and we always had a rocky relationship. If everything wasn't hunky-dory, he was very difficult, and I did leave when my son was 3 years old, and his father passed away, so I ended up coming back with a relationship, and we kind of just muckled through it. But there was always like abuse going on, like holes in the wall, hollering, screaming, furniture being broken, really abusive verbal abuse and emotional abuse all the time. And he brought out the worst in me because I'm kind of a fighter myself, so it wasn't a great environment. And then when I got sick with Lyme disease, he was just horrible. So I was just, in the end, still trying to work, and I had 2 children, and I had a child that was only 3 at the time, almost 4, a girl and a boy who was 14. And I really started seeing, especially with my oldest boy, it was starting to impact him psychologically. And that was basically, between that and becoming sick, that was the last straw. And in the end, I just said, I don't care what occurs to me. If I end up dying by myself on an apartment floor, I'm done, and I'm going to do it in peace and have my children in peace. So, yeah.
And what was the aha moment for you to leave that relationship?
The aha moment was, I guess, when I had to travel across to California to get diagnosed with Lyme disease, and I came back in heart failure. I didn't know I had it at the time, but I landed in a merge with my having to get my heart shocked and my heart pounding out of my chest, and he left me there for the entire day by myself, and to go through the whole thing. And he said not very nice stuff to me when I was going through the whole situation. So that was like, I was saying to myself, if I survive getting my heart stopped and restarted, I'm getting out of here and done with you. So, and then I got 2 weeks later, I got my Lyme results back, and he basically was on the same page as me. He's like, okay, well, I think I'm done with you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done with you too. So that was pretty much, he had enough of my being sick and all that jazz. And I definitely had enough bad moments where I thought I was going to die and not come out of this. And yeah, that was the definite hammer on the head. And I think sometimes it's bad when you have to get to that point. And I was one of those ones that lived in denial and kept putting everything behind me all the time. So.
Absolutely inspiring. Now, tell us more about your book, Metamorphosis.
So yeah, so that was written in 2015. It was kind of after my divorce, and I was a single mom working as a nurse, and I just had all this anger that was in me, and because my husband actually ended up going and leaving me for another woman, which I had no idea at the time. So that's why he was so happy to say goodbye to. So I was really like, I lived in an affluent lifestyle, lived in a very fancy house, and only worked part-time, and had everything, you know, that anybody could ever want. But I was extremely happy about any of it, because it doesn't matter how much money that you have if you're not happy in your relationship and or you're not healthy. That doesn't mean anything, basically. So with that, I decided to write about my experiences, and I just kind of didn't really know if I was going to ever publish it, but I just kind of sat in my car and had coffee. After I had to leave work there, my heart started getting really bad after a couple of years. And anyway, so I started writing, having my Tim Hortons coffee and wine for 2 hours a day. And in the end, I said, I think I'm going to publish this. And I felt really passionate when I was writing it. Like the more excited I was about what I was writing, the quicker I would type. And I let some people read it, and they're like, oh my goodness, like you can write. And I'm like, oh, really? And they're like, yeah, this is good. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I self-published it. So, and I'm glad I did, because I'm hoping it will help other women who are in difficult situations with maybe their health or domestic abuse or, you know, life-threatening circumstances to keep going, because it was not easy. I'm not going to pretend that was easy, because it wasn't. So yeah, that was my main, you know, motivation for Metamorphosis. So
Very, very uplifting. Now, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Well, the last book that I wrote was the 25 Tools for Happiness. So I actually have some great tools that anybody can use. And actually, there's 25 other authors that actually did the book as well. And everyone was different health practitioners, psychologists, doctors, nurses, therapists, you know, karate people. There was and dietitians, you name it. And everybody kind of went through a difficult time, and everybody had different tools. So no matter what your situation might be, maybe someone's tool or story didn't resonate with you, but you have like a whole selection here. But mine was positive mantras that I said it was a powerful self-talk to overcome adversity. So mine was, I'll just read it. It's a little easier. Never give up no matter what life throws at you, even if it's life-threatening. Dig deep inside your soul for strength to get through everything. I told myself this every day, that I would continue on and never give up no matter what. Your illness doesn't define you. You're still the same you. In your whatever, when this illness takes hold, you can't let it become all of you and nothing else anymore. You're still a mother. You're still a friend. You're still a nurse. So you have to keep your gravity and your self grounded in everything that you do. So I'd look in the mirror and I'd say, I'm still me. My illness doesn't define me. I prayed to my higher power, because I'm very spiritual. I was down on my hands and knees, I don't know how many times, praying to get through everything, the loss of my career and my health and my husband and everything. So that was really, you know, I'd say, dear Lord, give me the strength to get, you know, through this day, and protect me from all kinds of negative energies and activities. And also that have courage to believe that your life's going to improve no matter what. So mine could only rise up to the top, because it was down at the bottom. And we're way more than a physical person. We're all spirits in a body. So we're all here for a different experience and to learn, I believe. And that's my personal belief. So I said, my mind and body are strong enough to overcome this illness and to get through what I was going through. And it's only a part of who I am. And be thankful for everything I had. I didn't focus on the negative, because I did give a lot of materialistic things. So, and I had to move into very nice house there for a little while. And I didn't really care at the time. I just enjoyed my peace. So I always focused on getting better, looking after my children, being a nurse still, and keeping myself going. So, and I'm my own person. And if you're in any kind of abusive situation, physically, emotionally, mentally, that you have your own identity. You can't become codependent on somebody to make yourself happy. That's going to be up to you, even if you aren't in a bad situation. So each person has their own individual wants and needs. And I would tell myself when I was going through the hard time of feeling vulnerable that I'm my own person and no one can control my life or my emotions except for me, and as well as my happiness. And I love and to love everybody, love all your friends, your family, your children, because that's what's important. So those are the main things that I had to say.
I love it. Now, where can the audience find you?
I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on thewellnessuniverse.com, and I'm also on Facebook, and I'm in Clubhouse, and I'm doing some complete self-care shows with another wonderful lady who's a health coach too. And so if anybody who's ever on Clubhouse and they want to see our podcast our room, but we are doing a podcast as well. I'm into everything right now. We're doing podcasts and interviews and Clubhouse rooms, and so pretty much all over the place. So
absolutely amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Isabella at wellnessuniverse.com and all of her social media platforms. That includes LinkedIn. And again, thank you for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast, Isabella.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. It was great. Thank you.